first I did this, and then I did this. I call it Generations, and this is a watercolor painting, and I decided to do colored hands with a dark background, which is a little abnormal than what I usually do. Since it was such a risk, I documented my process, and I'm going to show you how it went.
Welcome to my channel.
You're probably wondering why it's such a risk to start with a dark background when your foreground is going to be light. Well, unlike oils or acrylic, watercolors are unforgiving. So it's better to start with your lighter colors and then build from there. By starting with a dark background, I run the risk of bleeding those dark colors into my lighter subjects, which in this case are the hands. I also run the risk of applying too much water to my dark colors and the color going into the area reserved for the lighter colored hands. This is so easy to do, especially when I want my background to have a washed look. Watercoloring takes a lot of forethought and planning because you have to work around the colors. I was undecided about the colors for the hands, but I knew if I laid down my background, I would be more inspired. So I took the risk and carefully applied my darks first. I really wanted the hands to glow, but also feel human, so I played with and exaggerated my yellows, pinks, and purples, and just kind of made it up as I went. I think I did pretty good, but of course, planning is always better. I can hear some of my professors in the back of my mind saying, hey, you should have done some color swatches. But I'm kind of a free flow thinker when it comes to painting, and once again, I like the risk. I think that's what I love about watercolor the most, is that there is so much lack of control. There's so much unknown. Sometimes you just don't know what you're gonna get. Apply the water, you don't know if it's going to bloom right, if it's going to keep the color. Sometimes you don't know what kind of granulation you're gonna get. So it's a little bit of an experiment as you're painting, and I think that's why I love it so much. So I try to leave plenty of room to do that on the paper while I paint. I want to tell you a little about the inspiration from this painting. As I was doing some self-reflecting and diagnosing my trauma, I realized how influential our mothers and their mothers are in our lives. I couldn't help but wonder who they were at my age. I realized that who I was shaping to be as a woman is a story that has already been started long ago. I'm just another book in the series. It's a different story, but it still connects and is heavily influenced by the stories that come before mine. I chose to paint the hands to represent the generations, the water to represent trauma, hope, joy, and wisdom that gets passed down, and the overall scene to feel dreamy or like a vision. I wanted the hands to feel like they were allowing the water to pass over them onto the next hand. The water and what it represents is already set in motion with gravity and time, so you can't stop it. And the hands show acceptance of this and simply guide it to the next hand that comes after them. The hands are all the same age because that is what I was reflecting about at the time. I painted the water with gouache so I could paint over the hands and background. Otherwise, I would have needed to plan this from the beginning and apply masking fluid to keep the background untouched. I chose to do the colors about the same colors as the hands because I wanted the hands to look like some of themselves was getting passed down. I honestly love this concept so much, I want to do it again, but with some differences. If you have suggestions about how I could change this up, leave a comment.